Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. My fellow Agonians, our many guests with us here today, and of course our esteemed honoree, right here to my left, I welcome you to this very special Dayton Agonis Club tribute lunch to the one and only Hal McCoy. For those who may not know, my name is Mark Allen, former news anchor here in town. I am also this year's president of the Dayton Agonis Club, and we are so glad you could all be with us here today. This is not our typical Monday lunch. This is a special tribute lunch, but we do have a couple of quick club things to take care of. We always have our 50-50 drawing every week, so grab your tickets. If you're in on the 50-50, the winning ticket is a blue ticket, and it's our biggest jackpot of the year so far, $185. You came through for Hal. The winning last three digits, winning ticket, 572. 572. Where are you, 572? Pull again. Yeah, right. It's got to be out there somewhere. Huh? Again in the back. Sutton Miller, are you kidding me? Every winner this year has been in the back row. Just so you it. So pick your. I got to see your ticket first, sir. Yep, sure enough.
I'll take my half.
Exactly. Yeah, Hal wants half. One of the quick club note today is the deadline. If you plan to join us for the UD Agonis game, again, it's the New Year's Eve afternoon game. Your registration cuts off today. So see Jack McKee and he will get you, or John McKee and he will get you set up with that. So again, today's the deadline for the Agonis UD game. Before we get going with the proceedings today, I did want to pass along some breaking baseball news. Since we got kind of a baseball crowd here today, you may not be aware of this, but apparently New York City has invited Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees to be there at Times Square on New Year's Eve, because apparently they need some help with somebody to drop the ball. Thank you. It is Agonis after all. I want to begin with a few introductions, and I'm going to leave it to Hal a bit later when he gets up here to introduce his family and guests. I'll let him do that a bit later on. But I did want to first introduce and thank fellow Agonis members Jim Place, Dave Nogle, and Dick Newland, who did an absolutely amazing job organizing and planning. They did the heavy lifting to make today's event possible. Gentlemen, please stand up. Be recognized. I also wanted to recognize and introduce a prominent member of the Cincinnati sports media family who wanted to be with us here today for Hal, and he has a special presentation. Andy Furman, come on down. The fur ball is here.
Wasn't planning on being here, but I do know the culture of this organization, so I'm going to try to be peachy today, really. You don't know this man, what he has done, what he's accomplished, but you can tell by the crowd, because they love him. We love you, and I love you. And it's just an honor to be here in your presence. It really is. And I have a little gift for you. I don't know what brand you spoke, so I got the cheapest cigars I could find. There you go. Okay, now that I kissed his ass a little bit, I could tell a real story. Do you want to hear the real story about Hal McCoy? I wasn't planning on talking.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Here's the real story. When I was at WLW Radio, I'd go to the ball game and go in the clubhouse, and I'd see him there, and I'd be there before the games, and a lot of the players come and say, who the hell is that guy? He's here every day. He's got the greatest job in the world, and you know why? He came into the clubhouse, no one knew who the F he was. He'd come back to Dayton, write about them, kill them in the paper, and they never read it because no one in Cincinnati reads the Dayton Daily News. You have the greatest job in the world. I love you. I really do. Congratulations.
Andy, thanks for being here. That means a lot to us, and it means a lot to Hal. Speaking of members of the sports media, serving as our videographer today, and he'll be later posting all this for us on YouTube for all posterity. A big thank you and welcome to WDTN 2 Sports, Joey DeBeradino in the back. Say hello to Joey. And also a quick thank you to Creative Impressions, who did a great job producing today's program. We went above and beyond on the program for Hal this year, so take that home with you. Hal's signing those if you'd like, so the program was awesome for today's event. All right, with that out of the way, now to the reason we are all here today. Now you'll be hearing from most of those seated up here at the head table in a bit, who will be each sharing their own perspectives and memories of their time with Hal over the years. And we also have, this is going to be a real treat, some very special video tributes for you today for some people who were unable to be with us here today but wanted to share their thoughts on Hal as well. We have the screen set up, so we'll have those for you in a bit as well. But first, a bit about the man himself. And I did write this, and it was hard to boil this down into a manageable form, because the career this man has had, unreal. Hal McCoy is synonymous with baseball and the Cincinnati Reds. The Hall of Fame writer for the Dayton Daily News has been covering baseball's oldest professional franchise since 1973. Hal was honored by the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 2002 as winner of the J.G. Taylor Spink Award, which is awarded annually for, quote, meritorious contributions to baseball writing, end quote. That made him a Baseball Hall of Famer. Unbelievable. He has covered more than 7,000 Major League Baseball games and chronicled 3 World Series championship teams, the back-to-backs in 75 and 76, and of course that great 1990 team, which may be Hal's all-time favorite, and 9 division winners as well. He has served in the past as the national president of the Baseball Writers Association of America in 1907 and has won 52 Ohio and national writing awards. He is a member of the National Sportswriters and Sportscasters Hall of Fame. Hal still covers the Reds home games to this day for his The Real McCoy blog on the Dayton Daily News website and for halmccoy.com. And his popular Ask Hal columns appear in the paper's Sunday print edition. I know a lot of us are contributors. If you ever see a question from Mark in Centerville, that's me. I've written it a few times over the years. He also covers University of Dayton basketball and football for PressProsMagazine.com. In fact, he will be courtside tonight for the UD home opener, even on his big day. He's going to be working tonight. Hal told me once he thinks he writes more now than he did before he retired. I read your latest column this morning. It continues to be a gift to us all. All right, our first speaker today is here representing Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. Please, if you would, welcome from the Ohio Department of Development an all-city high school football player at Belmont before his college playing days at Bowling Green. Please welcome Ron Todd.
Good afternoon. Y'all get louder than that, man. Come on. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Man, you guys listen. The last time I've been to a Agonis Club meeting was 1994 when you were at Sup Millers. See, you guys are too young to remember Sup Millers. Okay.
Sup does.
And you were giving an award to Big Daddy Dan Wilkerson. And I want to thank Coach Jim Place. Thank you so much for inviting me, Coach. Let's give Coach a hand. Coach Place never coached me, so when I played in high school, he was at Stebbins High School. And Coach, you don't remember, this has been 40 years ago. That was 1984. I came out 85. You made sure scouts come to my school because you had Brent White. And I told you, I said, man, I got the MAC schools offering me plus Howard, but you were still helping me out, so I'll never forget that. Thanks again. Appreciate that. A lot of people I see here, I know my dad's insurance agent here. Mr. Snyder, you here? And Denny Graff is here. And then I was a ball boy at University of Dayton. If Coach Donaher was here today, he'll say I was his favorite ball boy from he will say that. He always said it. And I love that because I don't know how my late dad would take me and drop me off at the top and I had to walk down. He'd be mad, why are you doing this? I said, I'm trying to get relationships. Mr. Shield would be on me about eating too much of I don't know if you guys remember that under the press room. Bucky right remember under the press room they had like the finger foods like ham and turkey and cheese. I had 3 minutes to eat every home game. And that was from 77. I did one game. 78, 79 did all the home games. I did half the home games, 80 through 81, when Roosevelt Chapman was a freshman. And I worked the tournament game. And I finally got paid. Guess how much I got paid? I don't know how many games it was. I think 4 on Thursday. No, 4 on Thursday, 3 on Saturday, whatever. $20. I was so happy. And then I won my career at Woodbury High School and then Belmont High School. But I'm here today representing Governor Mike DeWine, and the governor said he wished he could be here today. But he said, Ron, that's why I hired you, because you like to talk for me. I said, yes, sir, I do. Here. I am honored today to join you today on behalf of the Office of Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted to celebrate a true legend in sports journalism, Dayton's own Hal McCoy. Hal, your remarkable career as a beat writer for Dayton Daily News, covering the Cincinnati Reds for nearly 4 decades and over 7,000 games, has been nothing short of extraordinary. You capture not just the plays on the field, but the essence of the game itself, the spirit, the triumphs, the struggles, and those unforgiving moments that only someone with your keen knowledge and love of baseball could convey. You have a unique ability to bring the game to life, Hal. Your skill with words has allowed countless fans to feel as they were right there in the stands, cheering alongside of you. Through every inning and every season, you've painted a vivid picture above what happens on the field and the heart and soul of the game behind the scenes. Your election to the Cincinnati Journalism Hall of Fame as the first non-Cincinnati newsperson inducted to the National Sportscasters and Sportswriters Association Hall of Fame, and even the Dayton Regional Walk Hall of Fame is a true testament to the deep respect and admiration you've earned through your dedication and integrity. The Office of Governor, the state of Ohio, and the Dayton community are proud to recognize you, your profound impact on the baseball world. How your commitment, your passion, your unwavering dedication have not only brought joy and sight to fans, but also elevated the world of sports journalism itself. On behalf of Governor DeWine, Lieutenant Governor Husted, and the state of Ohio, congratulations, Hal. Thank you for many contributions, and know that the best is still ahead for you, Hal. May God bless you and bless you all, and may your legacy continue to inspire for generations to come. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron, for being here. Please give our best to the governor and Lieutenant Governor for a proud UD grad, John Husted. Next up, the readers of the Dayton Daily News have been blessed and fortunate over the many years to read the work of truly some of the very best in the field of sports journalism. Names like Ritter Collette, Cy Burek, Tom Archdeacon, Hal, of course, and our next speaker is on that list as well, who worked side by side for decades with Hal in the newsroom and elbow to elbow in countless press boxes and press rows all across the nation. Please welcome longtime Dayton Daily News sports writer and proud Agonis member, Bucky Albers.
Thank you, sir. It's a privilege for me to be here today to help Hal celebrate this thing. He and I joined the paper just about 2 or 3 years apart many years ago, and we were together covering for the Journal Herald at the time, and the Journal Herald was a morning paper, and we were doing high school sports, and the Daily News was the afternoon paper, and they ran pictures of their high school sports writers in the sports page every day. So Hal and I will go out to the hinterlands or wherever to cover high school games, and they'd have a seat for the daily news guys and not for us. So I said, Hal, we got to do something about this. So we went down to Reich's department store and got some bright red sport jackets and had Dayton Journal-Herald in white printed across the front. And after that, when we went out to the hinterlands to cover high school sports, we walked in with those jackets on and there was a seat for us. And I'll never forget that. And we had a lot of fun covering at that time. It was a lot of work, it was a lot of fun. It was great competition, and he and I worked together for a while, and then after, I don't know how long it was, a year and a half, he got a job up in Detroit for the Detroit Free Press. So then he came back to Dayton to cover, and suddenly he was my competition. And that was tough because he sat in the same sports department with me for a year and a half, knew who all my contacts were and everything, and then they bring him back to Dayton to the other paper, and he gets to cover auto racing, which is what I covered. So he knew who all my contacts were from sitting right next to me, and so it was rough for me when he first came back because he knew where the bodies were buried at my desk. So anyway, we worked together a long time. One time I remember when the president was killed, President Kennedy, Hal was working for the Detroit Free Press at the time, and the two of us were both covering a Cleveland Browns game in Detroit. And so we went to, where was President Kennedy shot?
Dallas.
It was in Dallas. So we're both in Dallas, and I remember the two of us went out to the site where the shooting had taken place and spent an evening looking at all this before we covered the game the next day in Dallas. And so eventually then he came back to the Dayton paper, and I got the jump on him then. I got the Reds beat before he did because he was covering something else for the Daily News. So I was on the Reds for several years before Hal got the Reds beat because the guy who ahead of him there then took over the Reds. And then I got married, and that was the end of the Reds beat for me. So I just decided there was too much running around to do on the road for a new guy who was married. I better stay here in Dayton. So I got off of that and covered a series of other things until now. And it was a great pleasure. He and I worked against each other quite a bit. He was covering auto racing for one paper, I was covering for the other. So there was a lot of competition between the two of us. And as you salesmen know, if you're selling against some other guy, it's not always an enjoyable time to run into your competition. And but anyway, we had a good time. And Hal, of course, has just done a great job covering the Reds. Meanwhile, I've been out covering, beating the bushes, covering other things, which I had a good time doing it. But anyway, he's had a great career, and I'm just tickled to be able to hear all of you people speaking, and to be able to just congratulate Hal myself on what a great job he's done over the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Buck. Dayton and the Miami Valley have produced a long and impressive list of Major League Baseball players, from Roger Clemens to Mike Schmidt. Not bad. And our next speaker is on that list as well. After his playing days at the University of Dayton, he baffled Major League hitters with his sinker for 13 seasons before joining the front office of the San Diego Padres. Please welcome the pride of North Star, Craig Stammen.
Thank you, guys. Hal, it's great to be here. Congratulations on being honored by the Agonis Club. I'm not sure sometimes if that's an honor or not, but today it is. Growing up north from Dayton, Hal was kind of our conduit between there and Cincinnati and covering the Reds. And so we grew up reading all of his articles about the Reds, the good ones, the bad ones, and we we lived and breathed on every word that he wrote. So when I got the opportunity to be a professional baseball player, there's certain things that happen in your career where you got to pinch yourself. Did that really happen? One, you getting your first baseball card, getting to pitch in Yankee Stadium. Well, one for me was Hal McCoy coming to my locker and asking me questions about the game.
Wow.
And so, there's certain things that go along with that. If you play the LA Dodgers, you want to listen to Vin Scully talk about you on TV, and you want to listen to Marty Brennaman call the game on the radio when you're pitching. And I wanted to read the article about Hal McCoy when I was pitching against the Cincinnati Reds. And so that's how I've always viewed Hal and what he's done and what he's meant to this area covering the Cincinnati Reds. And then, fortunately, over time, we became good friends. And Hal was able to come up to one of my fundraisers up in Versailles, Ohio, did it for free, came on his own when he was working for Press Pro magazine, got up there and told so many great stories. Him and Eric Davis, it was like two buddies on the stage telling stories, and I'll never forget that, and the generosity that you've shown me, and the good words that you've written about me in the paper also. You're a fair writer. You're not going to sugarcoat it, and even though we're great friends and you got my back no matter what, I think the last game I pitched in Cincinnati, still had to mention I gave up a double to Tucker Barnhart. I got out of the inning, luckily, but that's how great Hal is. He tells the truth, tells it the right way. That's what Major League Baseball players want from all the writers that write about their games. Tell them the truth, tell the real story. And then if you get a couple guys on your back, you have your back and give you the benefit of the doubt when things don't go right. So, Hal, thanks a lot for being a great friend to me. Always wearing your San Diego Padres hat when I'm here at the Agonis Club. That means a ton to me. I wish I could wear a Reds hat, but all mine are from back when I was 12 years old, so they don't fit anymore. But congratulations again, and it's just an honor to be here.
Craig, thank you. Craig is a regular speaker to us, the Agonis Club. He speaks at our luncheon every year, and we look forward to that. You'll be back to speak to us hopefully very soon before next season. We'll be calling. All right, that brings us to the Cincinnati Reds portion of today's program. I hope you've all had the opportunity to visit the Reds Hall of Fame, which of course is located right outside Great American Ballpark itself. To me, it's like having Cooperstown right down the road from my house. I mean, I love the Reds Hall of Fame, even though I'm a lifelong Cubs fan. The Reds Hall of Fame is unbelievable. And our next speaker is the longtime Reds Hall of Fame Executive Director. Please welcome Rick Walls.
And thank you, Mark, and thanks for being a donor to the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum with some of its personal artifacts. So I hope you guys all been there. Who hasn't been down the Hall of Fame? You've all been there, because of course I'm in Reds country. You have not been there. Does he go out that way? Is that way? So what is the definition of sport, right? Sport, you look it up, it'll say an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against one another or others for entertainment. So that's a pretty simple definition to define what's become an enormous industry that not only creates entertainment, but drives economies, creates jobs, and crosses all socioeconomic lines. We now think of sport as a way of life in many ways, a part of our lives, and people like Hal make it so. The baseball diamond is one of America's greatest classrooms. Dusty ball fields all over this region and all across the country fill voids in so many people's lives. They teach lessons of hard work, discipline, commitment, dedication, and perseverance. And for anyone who's played sports, they know the impact of a positive experience on these fields and having a positive coach and role model, how that can help shape their lives. And I know that in the case of Hal, I cannot but think that his baseball playing past as a youth, all the way up through college, had a big impact on making him the sports writer that he has become, overcoming a lot of obstacles in business, in his personal life, and even in his physical life. He's overcome all of these, and that perseverance, I think, has made him extremely special. He's able to continue on with his career at a high level, at that same level that you would expect excellence from Hal McCoy. So since professional baseball originated in Cincinnati a long, long time ago, no, Hal was not here then, the role and impact of the Reds on America's pastime and on the region has been immeasurable, showcasing the power of baseball to bring people together and create and maintain generations of Reds fans. So throughout the years, the game, the players, the coaches, the umpires, the owners, they've all changed. Even the fans have changed. But the story of the Reds and the link to our community has remained that one constant. And this doesn't happen without people like Hal McCoy, the storytellers that use their skill and insight to describe something, present a different angle, sometimes create a lot of different interests, maybe stir things up once in a while, but create some thought and intrigue. So with Reds baseball, it's become a way of life for many of us. We often measure our life through time, through baseball. I mean, where were you when this happened? You know, oh yeah, I remember the Reds won this. This is what was happening in baseball at the time. So we often measure our own time through that. And a true fan can recall those specific moments in relation to what the Reds were doing. If you were lucky enough to be a Reds fan through the 1970s or in 1990, you were fortunate to have many of these wonderful memories. And again, that's because of Hal. Hal was part of all of that. He's seen it all. He was there behind the scenes. He has more insight and knowledge, I think, on those teams. If you read his book, I'm plugging his book now, you'll learn a little bit more about all of those stories behind the scenes. He was there for all of them. He brought the inside scoop to you. And I think it's because he understands, like we all do, that baseball matters, and certainly Reds baseball and Reds baseball history matters. It matters to all of you. It matters to the community and the region, as well as the game itself, and you, again, made it so. Each day when I walk through the Hall of Fame, Reds history comes to life. You know, the personalities, the wins, the losses, the championships, the defining moments that made people legends. So much has happened, and Hal, you've seen it all, you've covered it all. You've done it for more than 50 years, and you know it as well as anyone. He's always called it the way he saw it, covered the ups and downs, sometimes stirring it up, like I said, Hal, but we won't hold that against you. But most of all, he created conversation and adding to the power of the history of Reds baseball. So it's not what people say about Reds baseball that's important, it's that they're talking about it, right? We'll be concerned when they stop talking about it. So this is what makes Hal special. He's received about every possible award and accolade that you can imagine, but most of all, he did it while maintaining class and garnering great respect from everyone in and around the game. And in talking this morning with Johnny Bench about our 50th anniversary of the 1975 championship, Johnny passed along a couple of words for me to spread to you, Hal. He was impressed with your dedication, your honesty, how factual you were with everything, your great storytelling ability. He had great respect for you, and as did all the players. He respected you because you played through pain. You may know what that means more than I do. But he considers you, Hal, part of the Big Red machine. So, Hal, thank you for everything you've done for covering the game and the special way that you do it and adding to this great history. Thank you, Hal, and congratulations.
Rick, thank you very much for being here. Just to fill in the quick story to what he referred to, when I was a 10-year-old boy in 1965, I was at Wrigley Field the day that Jim Maloney of the Reds threw a no-hitter against the Chicago Cubs, and even as a 10-year-old boy, my dad, who was a huge baseball fan, taught me at a very young age how to keep score, how to keep a scorecard. And I kept score that day. Even as a 10-year-old boy, I had the scorecard of Maloney's no-hitter. It sat in my closet for years and years and years, and finally back in 2015, which was the 50th anniversary, if I'm doing the math right, I just, for some reason, came across that card, called the Hall of Fame, asked them if they wanted to have it, and Greg Rhodes had me down. And it's the story, I think, is on YouTube. It's one of the best stories I ever did. But I donated that scorecard to the Reds Hall of Fame, so that's a real honor. And as an owner lender, I get in for free now, so that's the best part of the deal. You know, in many ways, Hal's Hall of Fame career has, I think, been defined by his relationships and interactions with the many, many Reds players and managers that he has covered over the many years, including our next speaker. He played 15 Major League seasons for 7 teams, including from 1978 to 1981 as a member of the Cincinnati Reds pitching staff. And you might remember back in 2007 and 2008, he was the pitching coach here for our very own Dayton Dragons. So please welcome and welcome back Doug Bear.
Well, I walked into Clubhouse in the spring of 1978. Some small kid from Northwest Ohio, a village of about 250 people. Walk in there, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, Danny Dreesen, Dave Concepcion. I don't have to go on. Do you think I felt overwhelmed? Yeah. But you know, that year I had probably one of my best years in Major League Baseball. Hal, who was the best right-handed relief pitcher you ever saw? Cincinnati. Anyway, my stay with Cincinnati is probably not topped off, but a highlight of a story that Hal wrote. At the end of the 1978 season, the Cincinnati Reds was invited to go to Japan to play for 1 month. Now think about that. You play 162 ball games. Now you're going to travel to Japan to play for a month. That was a tough one. We're over there, and being the year that I had, Dick Wagner, our general manager, asked me to have a little powwow with him one afternoon. He goes, you know, Doug, he said, you're making $17,500 this year. I said, yeah, I know. He goes, we're going to bump you up next year. You're signed already to a $35,000 for 1979. I was pretty excited, actually. But he said, we're going to renegotiate that contract. Cool. Well, we got back from Japan. Dick's secretary called me. She goes, Mr. Wagner wants to see you downtown. I go, okay, we're going to do the contract. Well, walked in the room. He's sitting behind his big oak desk, dim lights. He said, have a seat. I'm not negotiating your contract. You're going to play for $35,000 in 1979. There's the door. Goodbye. That was it. That was the end of the meeting. Okay, we fast forward to spring training. Obviously, I was disappointed more than, hurt and that kind of thing, even though you play professional sports to make some money, right? Well, Hal got wind of it. He said, Doug, I want the real story. Give me the real story on what happened. So in Tampa, we go out in the left field bleachers, we sit down and he interviews this and that and asks some pertinent questions, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm answering them like a dummy. Not to know that every single word that I said was going to be in the Daily Mail. Well, yes, people do read the Daily Mail. Dick Wagner got me the next day or the 2 days after that, whatever it was. He walked out on the field to left field where I was shagging for batting practice. He called me every color of the rainbow. He called me this, that, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. He goes, one more word out of you, you're out of here. So, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. So, that was my big introduction to Mr. McCoy. Thanks, Hal. Anyway, folks, I was told to talk for 2.5 minutes. I had one story to tell. I'm done. Thanks, folks. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, Doug. Special that you could be with us here today. And yes, people do absolutely read the Dayton Daily News. I told Hal the story. Growing up in South Bend, one of my best friends to this day is a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan. And he for most of his life living up in South Bend, subscribed to the Dayton Daily News specifically so he could read Hal McCoy's work. And I mentioned that to Hal about a year ago, and lo and behold, Hal called my friend on the phone to thank him. That's just the kind of guy Hal is. So, Hal, thank you for that. That meant so much to my friend. There are several other members of the Reds family who were, for various reasons, unable to be with us today. One, as you're about to see, for a very obvious reason. But they all sent along special video tributes. So Hal would know that they are thinking of him and what they think of him on his very special day. So all of you sit back. Hal, in some cases, buckle up, because I'm going to roll. Hopefully I know what I'm doing here. Let's roll that video.
Used to follow me, Pete Rhodes. Love you, Hal. All right? Sorry you're not covering the Reds again like you should be. But we all get old, we all retire, but we all don't live in Dayton, Ohio. Okay? Be like me. I live in Las Vegas. You'd love it out there. Even though you're like me now, you don't gamble.
Hal, congratulations, pal. I know it's a big day for you and Nadine and the family at Dayton, being honored as you are by the Agonis Club for a great career in writing baseball and also being one of the first citizens of the great city of Dayton. However, you and I got to talk. I am real concerned about your choice of things to do in the off season or in your off times. You need to come back and go to work. It's much safer writing baseball than it is touring Rome and the antiquities and falling down and breaking a rib, for God's sake. It's got to be better than that. So think about it. Give us some thoughts. If you come out of retirement, which will be much safer, obviously, for you, maybe no, I'm not either. But what do you do for an encore, pal? Crap in your pants? Think about coming back.
About you, I love you tons, and every award Hal McCoy gets is always well deserved. And I know this one for these guys at the Dayton Agonis Club, those guys mean a lot to you, and as you do to them. And I just want to say congratulations, brother. We'll see you soon. Hopefully see you at a Reds game. But Hal McCoy, you're the best.
Hal McCoy, Jack McKeon here. Sorry I can't be with you and your friends on this special occasion. I'm currently on the 60-day disabled list, recovering from hip replacement surgery 2 weeks ago. I know all your friends here tonight love you, respect you, and consider your friendship priceless. I hope that you and all your friends enjoy yourself tonight. Be safe. God bless you. And thanks for the memories.
And Hal and Jack McKeon shared a few cigars over the years, I do believe. All right, it is time now to hear from the man himself. So Hal, if you could stand up. We have a special presentation for you. Look at that. Let me read this. The Dayton Agonis Club proudly salutes Hal McCoy in recognition of his illustrious baseball writing accomplishments, National Baseball Hall of Fame, National Sportswriters, Sportscasters Hall of Fame, Irish American Baseball Hall of Fame, Baseball Writers Association past president, dated today's date, November 4th, 2024. Hal, it is a true honor for every member, and I know speaking as president, I speak for every member of the Dayton Agonis Club, to know that we have a Baseball Hall of Famer in our midst on a regular basis. I can't tell you what it means to us. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the true gems of the Gem City, the one and only Hal McCoy.
Thank you, everybody. You can sit down now. Mark, such a pleasure to have you MC this.
It's my honor.
Even though you're a Chicago Cubs fan.
Nobody's perfect.
Ron, Rick, Doug, Craig, Bucky, thank you very much. I'm so honored to have all of you up here and to call all of you my friends. And I first of all have to thank the Agonis Club, especially Mr. Price, Mr. Newland, Mr. Nogel. Thank you for all your hard work. I'm supposed to be a man of words, but I'm overwhelmed right now and shaking like a leaf. I've never had anything like this, and don't know why. I really don't deserve it, but just a pleasure to be members of this august and austere group of people I call my friends. I have to tell a story on Doug Bear. I haven't even told him this story, but Doug was once married to a gorgeous woman named Connie, beautiful woman. Yeah, was. Well, in 1979, John McNamara had just become manager of the Cincinnati Reds. Spring training in Tampa, we're sitting out by the swimming pool, John and I, and Connie Bear walks by in this short, skimpy bikini, just gorgeous. John McNamara, she said hello to me, and John McNamara said, "Who in the hell is that?" And I said, "That's Doug Bear's wife." And he said, "He just made the team." Well, I appreciate all my friends and family who have joined us here today, and I know I'm going to follow this up, but I'm going to go around and introduce each one of them. First of all, Jeff and Nancy Gordon and Murray and Tammy Greenberg, stand up, please. Jeff and Murray are two of my best friends in life. They both would do anything for me and have done everything for me and never asked anything in return. And every Sunday morning we go for coffee and donuts, and it's one of the highlights of my week. And Tammy Greenberg does my hair. So how's it look?
And that ain't easy.
Yeah. And two of my recent acquaintances and become a great friend, Ryan Roth and Michelle, his beautiful, beautiful wife. Stand up. Ryan is the best Elvis Presley tribute singer you will ever hear. And I tell him this often. If you go to any of his performances, if you shut your eyes and listen to him, you'll think Elvis has come out of the grave. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. John Boyle, stand please. John is sports editor of the Dayton Daily News, and I have worked for 7 different sports editors, showing how old I am. Mm-hmm. And John, I really appreciate what you've done for me. Out of all the 7, you're the best, buddy. You are the best. You have enabled me to. He has enabled me to continue my career after they put me out to pasture and said they weren't going to cover the Reds anymore. John helped keep me around to do some columns for him and do Ask How every Sunday and work for their website. So John, thank you very much. Okay, over here, Mike, Lois Snyder, Mary Jo and Dennis. These 2 young ladies, Mary Jo and Lois. First of all, we go to Europe. We've gone to Europe for, what was it, 4 straight years now? And they are our companions and travel mates, and we've had a great time doing it. Lois and Mary Jo and my wife Nadine taught school together for 30 years at Our Lady of the Rosary, so God bless them. You all know this next guy. Stand up, Ray. Ray's a member of the Agonis Club, and my wife says that we are joined at the hip at birth. He's my brother from a different mother. When I lost my eyesight and couldn't drive anymore, I needed a driver to go to the Reds games. And Nadine suggested I put in a little ad in my blog to advertise for a driver. And I said, "You're crazy, who's going to do that?" Well, I put it in, and I had 480 offers to drive me to Reds games. The first guy I talked to was this guy here, and right away I knew he was the guy because we're like twin brothers. We like everything the same, and he did it for how many years now, Ray? Six or seven years. He lives in Centerville. I live in Inglewood. He would drive from Centerville to Inglewood to pick me up, drive from Inglewood to Cincinnati to the ball games, from Cincinnati to Inglewood to take me home, from Inglewood to Cincinnati to go home. 220 miles round trip every day, and he never took a dime for it. He just got in free to all the games. Ray still is a great friend, and we still do breakfast at Mom's together, and he still hauls me around for speaking engagements and other things. And brother, I love you. Julie, stand up, Julie. Julie is works with me for Press Pose magazine, Julie Wright, and she takes care of me when I cover the University of Dayton basketball games, picks me up and takes me to the games, brings me home, and she's our photographer and does a great job. If you get on the Press Pros magazine website after UD games and see all the art, she takes some fabulous pictures, and she makes sure when I go to the game I don't fall down at midcourt. And then there's my stepson Chad and his beautiful wife Ryan. Stand up, Chad. Ryan. Chad went to CJ, and Jim Place, the football coach, wanted Chad to play football. Well, Nadine didn't want him to get hurt, so she wouldn't let him play football, so she let him play hockey. He only broke his arm once, right? I was at a game once in northern Kentucky, and there was a baseball player agent named Joe Bick. Very nice man. His son was playing for the other team. And Joe and I were sitting in the stands enjoying the game, having a nice chat, and we looked down on the ice and there's a fight going on. It was Chad and his son. And Chad, I was very proud. You whipped his ass. Where's Jackie? Oh, okay. One other guest that I had was Jackie Loffer, who was the principal at Our Lady of the Rosary, and I knew she was a good person. She babysat our dogs several times, and our dogs loved her, so I love her. Once again, everybody, thank you so much. I am so humbled, and what? Oh, no, I was going to finish with it. There was another person, Andy Furman. Where are you? You still here? Andy, so great to see you. I want to tell you about Andy. Back in the 70s when he was at WLW and a great sports host, just put on a great show, he was the first person ever to mention that I might someday be in the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame. I thought he was crazy, but he said it on the air, and it came to be, and I forever thankful for that, Andy, and thank you so much for being here. Stand up, sweetheart. She.
Four women stood up.
Yeah. This is my wife, Nadine. She is my best friend. She is the love of my life. She is my guardian angel. Without her, I could not survive. She spends so much time taking care of me, making sure that I don't fall down steps, trip over curbs. When I was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, she had a I won't say a nervous breakdown, but she had a panic attack because she was afraid that I was going to fall off the front of the stage. And I almost did, but honey, I cannot say enough for you. You are the love of my life, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our special tribute lunch to Hal McCoy. Thank you all very much for coming. If you'd like him to sign your program, I know he'd be happy to do that. But this was great. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Al.